Ma Ailin, she's just the best. Absolute goat-like behavior. Spaffs 3 months worth of stored up magic out on destroying this river and just saves everyone. Iconic. Absolutely iconic. Meanwhile, we juxtapose this moment of awesomeness with one of the things in this book that makes me really sad. It's not one of the big sad moments, but it's one that makes my heart hurt because Manon, she takes the plunge and tells Dorian how much she likes him. And she apologizes for how she's been reacting about him going to Morath. And she she asks him to stay with her. And she's like, look, we could have an alliance. Ardalen and the witches, and we could be together. Like, we could get married. Stay with me, choose me, pick me. And he's like, Manon, you wouldn't be happy with that. You wouldn't want to just be like a queen consort. And fair dues, she wouldn't. But they go to bed in the tent. He hasn't said that he won't stay. And so she's got that little bit of hope that, like, no, I did what I've been encouraged to do. This is the first feeling and the only feeling I will ever admit to having. And when she wakes up in her tent, he's left her. He's left her. And it's the first time Manon's let herself be like vulnerable, and I know why Dorian does it, but I'm sad that he does. Very close to tears all the way through this, BT dubs. Up north, Adian tells Ren to send out messages that Terrasen is officially calling for aid. They are fighting the Morath forces, but they know they're going to lose unless people come and help them. As this message is going out, Captain Rolf and the Mycenians, they arrive by water with all of those fire lances that Kale beefed up the order for in Tower of Dawn. And Adian and all of his men, they get on the boats and they travel along with Rolf. Rolf helps them escape and they all head together towards Orin. We then see Lorcan waking up with a lead next to him and she tells him that she loves him. At this point, Manon and the Crocum Witches, they get the word that Terrasen is officially calling for aid. Manon's been waiting on this all the way through the book. Now, Manon says to everyone that she will answer the call, and the 13, they will all answer the call. And the Crocum Witches she's with, they all say, we shall answer the call. So the leaders of the 7 great hards, they all say, yep, Manon, light the beacons, summon all the witches to war. So she does, she lights all the fires, and then the final clan, they take the fire and they're like, we will go, and like every other beacon, all the Crocum Witches are rallying under their Crocum Queen, Manon Blackbeak. Oh, like, look, who needs romance? Who needs a man when all your sisters go and come together? They are rallying around Manon and she needs that, okay? She's not going to waste her time on selfish things like love and a relationship. She's got real love. She's got her sisters. She's got her sisters. With all of this great news, we also have Aelin tell Rowan that she has sent letters out. She sent one to Adian to let him know that she's free, but she also sent letters to Rowan's uncle, who is leading like the Whitethorn clan at the minute, and to Asar over in Dorinel to tell them that Maeve kept her prisoner, that Maeve told her her plan. Maeve is a baddie, and she's tried to convince them in her letters to basically carry out a coup, a rebellion over in Dorinel so that they can fracture up Maeve's army. You know, the Fae are currently being led by someone who isn't Fae, and by rights, Aelin is actually queen of the Fae. So she's telling 2 people she trusts, SR, who she's met before, and obviously Rowan's family, these facts to be like, there is a usurper on the Fae throne. Her name is Maeve. She is literally a parasite from another universe. Do what you can to get rid of her. is at this point we have Kashin arrive. He's brought more soldiers from the southern continent with him. So they're all at Aniel and they all decide, like Hassar, Kashin, Sartak, and Kashin, that they're all going to head up to Terrasen. They're going with Aelin up north, and Irene is currently at Aniel, like healing everybody. Can't forget about Irene, guys. She's going to be an important player in this. Now, Aelin gets her hopes up a little bit that maybe Irene can heal the Valg out of Maeve and out of Erwin, and then maybe she doesn't actually have to sacrifice herself to make the lock and push all the badness out of their realm. So she starts reading all of the books written in weird marks that Kale and Irene have brought back with them from the southern continent, but it's not looking good for this particular pipe dream. A little bit of good news, though. The wild men of Aniel, who live nearby and are constantly attacking, they come along and they say, look, we just want a bit of territory for ourselves. Give us a little bit of Aniel that belongs to us, and in exchange, we will guide all of your forces through these secret paths in the woodlands, and we will get you up to Terrasen on routes that you know your enemy can't take. Now, Kael's father refuses. He doesn't want to give up any of his territory to these wild men. And Aylin's in the room and she's like, I'm so sorry, Lord Westfall, man who I hate with every fibre of my being, because you abused one of my bestest friends in the world and former boyfriend. But said former boyfriend technically outranks you at the minute because he's Hand of the King. You're just Lord Westfall. And Lord Westfall is gagged because technically Kael is more important than him. And so Kael's like, I make this deal. His dad's fuming. And we find out that all the time Kael was down in Rifthold serving as a member of the King's Guard, his father had been stopping the mail that Kael's mum had been sending him. So Kael's dad might have disowned him, but his mum had been writing to him constantly, and his dad had been intercepting the letters. So Kael thought his mum didn't love him anymore, and Kael's mum thought that he didn't forgive her and wouldn't speak to her. How evil's that? So Kael's like, yeah, I'm giving the wild men this territory. Now, half of the Rooks and the Dagon Riders, they are going to march under Kashin's banner on the eastern side of the mountains to draw all of the forces out of the Ferrying Gap. They think that's going to be the main army, but it won't. The rest of them are going to sneak through the forest. The majority of them, in fact, are going to make it through the forest. And now we move into part 2. Gods and Gates. We're only halfway. Oh my god. This is going to take days to do. So this section starts off with Dorian sneaking into Marath as a mouse, and he sees Erwin and Maeve together. Maeve is now in Marath, and it looks like she's working with Erwin. We also find out that Adian, Lysandra, and the whole army, they've arrived at Orinth right now, so they've made it to safe place. Maeve reveals to Erwin who she really is, because obviously Erwin travelled to that realm to find Maeve. Discloses she's no longer the Queen of Doranel, the uprising Aelin encouraged through her letters with Rowan's dad. That worked. So now that Homegirl's been kicked out of the lovely, lovely land of the Fae, she's partnering up with Erwin because, more than anything else, she hates Aelin. Now, Maeve creates a portal and shows Erwin a Stygian spider, a Karen Kui. And Erwin says, gosh, I've been struggling to find vessels that are strong enough to house the 6 other Valg princesses I want to bring into this realm to help with the fight. And Maeve offers 6 of her Karen Kui to host these, like, princess Valg demons. And Erwin makes it clear he is planning to bring his 2 brothers into this world. And Maeve leaves and Dorian follows her in the form of a mouse. And you find out that Maeve knows exactly who he is and she traps him in her room. Maeve's got Dorian. Now, she tells him that they can work together. Girl is sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Because more than anything else, what she actually wants is the keys. She wants to get rid of Erwin. She doesn't want the other kings coming back. Really, she's just lying to anyone, to everyone. What's true, what's not, we don't know. And Maeve tells him, like, look, you don't owe Aelin any loyalty at all. She's actually glad you've got the keys now. She's hoping you'll sacrifice yourself on her behalf. Dorian is like, yeah, fair play. I'd rather she do it than me as well. Like, I get it. Which Maeve is just not expecting, like, how blasé Dorian is. But Dorian, he proposes to Maeve. He says, look, bring those magical, giant, scary spiders over to my side in the war, and I will agree to marry you. That way you can become the queen of Ardalan and you will have somewhere safe. You can rule. We will get rid of the Valg together and then you can just come chill with me and be in charge of my kingdom. And Maeve's like, damn, that's a pretty sweet deal. I mean, Dorian's an attractive guy. Why wouldn't you choose him? Dorian finds out that Vernon is still at Marath, but we hate him. So Dorian shapeshifts into Elite's Uncle Vernon. And he goes to speak to Erwin, has a chat, but doesn't really find out anything useful. And he doesn't find out the location of the third key, which is what he is there to try and uncover and steal. Do you have some slightly bad news from the Nezrin Sartak side? Because they have traveled with Shin's army to Therian Gap, and there are no bad guys there. None of the bad guys are around. There are no Iron Teeth Witches. Where is the bad guy army right now? Now, Maeve does bring her 6 Stygian spiders to Marath, and the Valg Princess Demons are inside them. Whilst Dorian, he's still hunting for that third and final weird key. He finds a locked door so he can sneak in, and he finds this big black stone sarcophagus and a load of the black collars. And it turns out he has stumbled upon the tomb that Elena and Gavin locked Erwin inside in Marath. All of the collars, they start affecting Dorian. He can't use his magic, and Maeve comes and saves him, and she says, look, I do want to partner up. I don't want to be like the Valk Kings. I don't want to be like Erwin and Matinx and Orcus. Now, Dorian thinks that the final weird key is going to be somewhere in Erwin's tower, but he can't get access to that space. So he wants Maeve to try and seduce Erwin so he can kind of get in the building. So Maeve does try it on with him, but he will not let her in his tower. So Maeve goes to meet Erwin the next day and she has Dorian in her pocket as a little mouse. Erwin says that he wants her to summon the Karankuif, like all of them. And Maeve says, May, you should chill, like save them for the actual war. But she says, if you want some proof of my power, I can totally show you your brothers. And obviously, Erwin's going to jump at the chance. He's not seen his brothers in like hundreds of years. Meanwhile, Adian, he and his guys are setting up traps for the Marath forces that are heading their way. And they bury explosives underground that are going to ignite when the soldiers pass over them. And this ends up being a really good shout because the first things that the army are pushing forward happen to be the witch towers. So Adian's little explosives plan, it destroys 2 of the 3 towers that Manon's grandmother has managed to build. And it damages the 3rd. So kudos to Adian. Everyone says he's stupid, but clearly not. We also find out that Marath's army, it's over 100,000 strong. And I don't know if you've been keeping track of the numbers, because I haven't, but it's really not looking good for Terracin at this point. Back at Marath, what Maeve plans to do is show Erwin an illusion of his brothers to buy Dorian some time, because Homeboy slipped out of a pocket and rushed into Erwin's tower, where Dorian finds a woman in Erwin's bed, and like Coltane, she's got the weird key embedded in her arm. So Homeboy whips out a knife, cuts the stone out of her arm, and the girl's like, please kill me. Please, please kill me. Do a mercy kill. It's not the first time we've heard one of them begged for in these books, but Dorian can't do it because this girl's innocent. You know who can do it though? Maeve, who's appeared in the room. She kills the girl. Just stone cold. And then she uses her powers to mind control Dorian. Are you not gagged? Maeve is betraying Dorian. What a surprise. But, newsflash, Mum and Dorian's magic is like raw power, right? So he can do anything. He's learned how to shapeshift. And he's been watching Maeve with her mind control magic. And so now Dorian can do it. Don't work on him. Don't work on him. He's gonna pretend. That she's got control of his mind, but Henboy knows what he's doing. He's so amazing in this. Like, Dorian, Villiard, marry me, please. So he controls her mind instead, Uno reverse card, and reveals that while he's been in Morath, he's been using his magic to just like gradually weaken the foundations. One little tiny little nudge from him, and the entire place is gonna fall down. And he has this like iconic line as he's giving a final FU to Maves. He's like revealing, I've been doing shenanigans all along. You can't betray me. I betrayed you first, kind of malarkey. Where he says, there's only one witch I'll make my queen. You know who he's talking about. So he gives her back like control of her mind, but he has taken away her ability to make portals. Dorian has removed someone else's magic. Like, I know everyone gets hyped about Aelin and her fire. It is awesome. But Dorian's insanely powerful. Like, it's so cool. So he manages to take down the entire Tower of Morath, double trick Maeve, and he has the final weird key. See, Manon shouldn't have been worried. She shouldn't have been worried at all. Cut over to my homegirls Irene and Alid. We're having a little chat about Arid's leg because Irene says, do you know what? If you really wanted me to, it'd take a lot of time, a lot of effort, but I could heal that leg that never healed properly. And Alid is like, oh, let's put a pin in this discussion. Once we've won the war. See, Alid has faith, right? Alid is like, when we've won the war, yeah, let's sort out my leg. We love that homegirl's making plans. Like, she believes that they're going to come out on top. She's been subsiding on nothing but faith for a real long time. And so far, she has been proven correct. Aelin was alive. So, yeah, Alid is staying strong. And Bort swoops in on her rook and she's like, look who I found. And it's the real Uncle Vernon that Doran was literally like pretending to be over at Morath. Vernon tells them that Paranth has been completely taken over by the Morath military forces. And he lets Aelin know that Maeve has gone to Erewhon. Like, the Morath side, they are united now. Baddies are definitely 100% on baddie side together. Vernon also says, hey, look, just so you're aware, this is how big the army is, and they are currently attacking Orinth. That's where they are headed. And he thinks he's going to get some kind of like special favor for sharing this info. And Aelin's like, you remember all those years you abused my girl Elite? I'm going to do the same thing to you. So they literally chain him up, leave him to die. And I make them right. And Alid is like, oh, Aelin, you're the best. Back up in Orinth, Darrow starts showing Lysandra like the last of the sacred texts in the library, and everyone is readying for battle when they see 1,000 wyvern heading towards them. So they've got an army of like 1,000 witches on the backs of dragons coming to sack their city. And Adian's planning to use the fire lances that Rolf's brought to attack them up in the sky, which is a pretty solid plan. He also grabs Lysandra and says, babe, you take Evangeline and run. Go out through the tunnels, escape out the back, avoid the fight. Please be safe. I love you. They love each other, but they also haven't been in a good place up until now. Me. Fortunately, though, with 1,000 witches on wyverns heading towards Orinth from the north, we see more wyverns, except this time there's 13 of them, followed by thousands of Crocum witches on brooms, because Manon is coming. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. She's leading her own witch army. It's so awesome. Just imagine them. Like, you're looking ahead like, oh no. And then behind you, so many more of the good guys turn up. It's sick.